In the global healthcare sector, women represent around 70% of the workforce, but hold only 25% of senior leadership roles. For every 16 heads of states worldwide, there's only one woman, and women comprise less than a quarter of the world's health ministers. They also earn, on average, 28% less than men. This is all according to the recently published Fortune 500 for 2021. We'll be joined now in the conversation with Seoul City Institute CEO Phinah Kodisang, who will be conducting a series of virtual Women's Month dialogues to discuss what women leadership is needed to challenge the status quo. And she joins us now. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. It's a significant month where women's issues, women's leaderships, women's lives are under the spotlight. And you will be ensuring that there's a series of dialogues to challenge many of the big gaps and the loopholes and the question marks that we face on a day-to-day in society. Tell us more.
Yeah, and it's important that we recognize that we don't only want to celebrate women in Women's Month, but now that we have the spotlight on us, we are taking advantage of that opportunity. And these conversations, as we are going to have them, are actually going to give to us an indication of where women are in terms of leadership. What do they see as gaps, and what do they want to bring to the table for the change to start happening? I mean, we realize that in the health sector, we realize that in the economic sector, in the social sector, we have women who are leading change. Hence, our hashtag is She Leads Change. But we don't hear much about their involvement. We don't hear much about the work that they do on the ground. You know, so the women that I'll be talking to are women who are actually leaders of different organizations, women in their own right, leaders like your Dr. Tlaleng, Dr. Tulu, who is the head of SANAC. We want to have meaningful conversations about what is the gap. As women, what are we doing to fill those gaps? Because clearly the men have not really succeeded. You know, their leadership has not really brought the change that we want to see. So let's put women at the helm. Let the women lead the change, and let's review and see if we don't see changes. Because from where I'm sitting, if you put women in charge, you are sure going to make the impact that you want to make.
Absolutely. But we also know that women who often aspire to leadership positions face many barriers, in fact, more barriers than men. And that will need a major shift.
A major shift politically, a major shift in the system, a major shift in all spheres of life, even in the homes, because leadership of women starts in the homes. So if women are not allowed agency, if women are not allowed in their homes to lead, you know, it translates in what we see then in society, because we are a microcosm of society. So we need to make sure that women in all spheres, hence I'm talking to different women, young people who are leading change in their own spheres without, you know, the necessary accolades that come with being a CEO of this, with a director of that, but it's just women who looked at the situations they are in and felt that they want to do something about it. You know, we are going to touch on spatial development, how apartheid template is still being used in South Africa in terms of women's development. We're going to look at our overall response in terms of HIV, AIDS, and COVID. What battles are we not winning on that front, and what is hindering us from getting to a point where we say we have really made a shift?
You speak about the different topics, but the people who will be receiving these topics are women of all walks of life. Which are the kind of women that you're looking at, especially with the work that you do? You come across a lot of women in different sectors and different leaps of life. Which are these women that you're going to hope to engage with as you get underway with these conversations?
We are targeting every woman. Hence, I'm saying the panelists that are there are women in different sectors, in different spheres, ordinary women, women who've really internationally, regionally, and locally are making their mark. But we are targeting every woman who will be hearing our conversations, and we want to take them out of the platform that we will be using next week into communities at a later stage, so that they reach broadly beyond where we would have reached on the platforms that we will be using as of next week. But we are targeting a young girl who is in Hammanskraal, who lives in a community where water is still a problem, even today, where roads in Hammanskraal are still not fixed. We are targeting a young woman in KZN who still lives under the confines of a culture that says you don't have bodily autonomy. Somebody can decide for you when you get married, when you have sex, what you should do with your body. We are targeting women in religious spaces. Dr. Hadebe is a feminist theologian. We will be talking about why is that religion is imprisoning us so much, especially Christianity. Where are women in Christianity? Where is the woman leadership in the Christianity space? So we are targeting every woman, because at the end of the day, we want women to say, I'm tired of the situation that I'm in. I want to do something.
That's incredible work that you speak of. But we also know that as the voices here in South Africa get to talk about women and the various roles that they can take up, we know that the entire African continent is still lagging when it comes to women in leadership. And just to go perhaps a little bit deeper as we try and make sense of the workspace and how women are treated in a workspace, we know that there are serious loopholes when it comes to the culture of a workplace environment. How will you be tackling that?
So we are looking at the pay disparities between men and women. We want to challenge, and challenging the status quo is saying, if women are doing the same work that men are doing, why are we paying them less? If women are CEOs, why are they earning less than male CEOs? What is the qualifier in terms of the salary that is allocated when the position is the same? We want to challenge those. We want to understand, even in politics, why do we feel that we are not ready to give women the leadership? When are we having a deputy president who's a woman, or even a president who's a woman? Can't we aspire to get to that point? When are we getting to that point? It needs to start with us shifting our mindset about what we believe women can do as leaders. I think a lot of times when we talk about women as leaders, we only think about their roles, their caring roles, their care work. And even that is something we are challenging, to say care work must now be compensated. It's no longer about women are nurturers, women are naturally carers. No, women need to earn what is their worth, and when they do a work that is determined to be at a scale of 5 million, give those women 5 million.
Let's talk about the impact of COVID-19. I mean, sadly, we've seen that it has further widened the gender gap. We've seen that since the start of the pandemic, women have spent more time than men performing unpaid work, such as childcare, home and household duties. And that in itself has been exacerbated by job losses. How then will you come to the table with some solutions when it comes to empowering women from all walks of life?
Women need to start being entrepreneurs. We need to give women the resources, the skills to start their own businesses. The care work that they do in their home, the cooking that they do in their home, they could start earning from there. And in actual fact, when I'm being ridiculous, as some people call me, I say even those women who are in the homes where they are not employed and the husband works, the husband should give that woman an allowance. They should give them a salary, because the care work that the woman is doing, if you were to get somebody to do it, you would be paying no less than 5,000 to some point, So we need to start, as I was saying earlier, to start making sure that care work is compensated and it's not only reduced to it's a woman's job, it's a woman's role in the home. We need to challenge that and also bring to the table discussions around how do we mainstream women in economics? How do we mainstream women and make sure that where there's unemployment as a result of COVID-19. There are measures put in place to help them. The 350 that is put for the unemployed, we need to look at where else can we tap into, to make sure that women get compensated for the job losses. Even the looting that happened recently, the people who are affected in terms of job losses are women. So we need to bring to the table some form of discussion where we start saying, okay, we've been unfair to 50% of the population of this country. We've always put them at the back burner. We've always, undermined them. We've always looked at them as, natural carers. But right now, for us to improve, for us to reach the SDGs, 2030 is around the corner. For us to reach the SDGs, let's bring these women to the table. Let's start creating resources that will enable these women to unlock jobs that, they can start creating when they have the resources. We need to make sure that even as we do recruitment, where recruitment will be done, we prioritize women. But also, I will state again, let's make sure that we pay them what is required, not something that is like a compensation as if somebody is doing you a favor.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's leave it there. A conversation with the Soul City Institute CEO, Phinah Kodisang, who will be hosting a series of dialogues, really asking some important questions there and some interesting revelations when it comes to women and assessing and shining a spotlight on women this month. But, of course, it shouldn't just be the month of August where women and their issues are put under the spotlight.